a summer night. There's a warmth in the glow of your city light. You're my friend and my home, my work and my pride. You make me feel so alive. My Waterloo, yeah, Waterloo. You lift your head high for the world to see. The beauty of the morning sky, always there for me. You're my friend and my home, my work and my pride. And I'm gonna stay by your side. You're my Waterloo, and you're growing up to be a lady. Don't you know? You're the neighbors I come home to. You're my Waterloo, and you know I'm always gonna need you. My Waterloo, my Waterloo, yeah, Waterloo. You're my friend and my home, my work and my pride. And I'm gonna stay by your side. You're my Waterloo, and you're growing up to be a lady. Don't you know? You're the neighbors I come home to. Oh, my Waterloo, and you know I'm always gonna need.
Dress it up, snazz it up. Whatever your style, kick it up to a whole new level at Crossroads Mall. Inside, you'll find the largest variety of stores in the Cedar Valley at prices you can afford. Kick it up today at Crossroads Mall.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Urbex Dead Mall series, your best place to find all the latest and greatest dead mall, retail, and urban exploration content. Today's episode brings us to the Crossroads Mall here in Waterloo, Iowa, and the beginning of another massive road trip. This time, I'll be taking you all across Iowa to some of the coolest malls the state has to offer. Then I'll be heading south, way south, to Arkansas, Mississippi, and Alabama to bring you some of the most infamous abandoned malls. This is definitely a trip you won't want to miss. So make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so that you don't miss when a new episode drops. Yes, the Crossroads Mall, one of Iowa's most beloved malls. And I still am sitting here scratching my head going, why? Now don't get me wrong, I enjoyed this mall and I liked its aesthetics. However, in all of my mall travels, I've seen malls that are either way bigger, way fancier, way nicer, or just have even cooler retro aesthetics. Just think of like the 1980s colors, or even the 70s tile, or neon everywhere, and this mall just sort of lacked a lot of that. So after fully exploring all the malls throughout Iowa, I came to the conclusion that the reason people really love this mall is the fact that they probably haven't been outside the state of Iowa to any other malls for comparison. And at one point, this was more than likely Iowa's nicest mall and was really truly a shopping paradise. This was my first and only visit to the Crossroads Mall, and sadly, I never got to see it during its prime. One thing that struck me when I visited this mall was just how amazing the architecture in the ceiling and the patterns in the tile work were on the floor. I was just like, wow, that's awesome. Although I didn't really care for the colors that they chose for the tile. It's just kind of muted and blah, but the pattern is just phenomenal. Since this is one of Iowa's most beloved malls, I really wanted to do it justice and do a real deep dive into its history, and we will be able to go over its history, but because this was my first and only visit to this mall, I won't really be able to go back over the years and show you any previous footage. However, there are others out there that have done a fantastic job of documenting the Crossroads Mall throughout its life and during its decline. The first person that comes to mind is Colin of Northern Films. He's done a number of videos on this place, and that's mainly just because he lives in the Waterloo, Iowa area. I'll try and remember to put a link in the description box below so you can check out all of his mall content as well as his videos here on the Crossroads Mall.
This isn't a mystery. It's a party.
Like, all right, like it's Scooby-Doo.
Your favorite Cartoon Network star, Scooby-Doo, is coming to your town.
Like he'll be perfect.
And you can meet him.
Don't miss your chance to meet Scooby-Doo. September 10th from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. at the Crossroads Mall, I-380 and San Martin Drive in Waterloo.
Alright, so now I think it's time to take a deep dive into the history of the Crossroads Mall in Waterloo, Iowa. In 1967, Crossroads Center Incorporated would announce plans to build a mall along with two other malls of the same name. One would be in St. Cloud, Minnesota, and the other in Fort Dodge, Iowa. The very first store to open at the mall would be Sears in 1969. Crossroads Center, or the Crossroads Mall, would officially open in 1970 and was one of the first malls in the state of Iowa. Its original anchors would be J.C. Penney, Sears, and a Black's department store. In 1978, the Black's department store would rebrand to a Donaldson's, and then to a Carson Perry Scott in 1987. 1989 would see the upper level of the J.C. Penney converted into a Herberg's department store. Now, do you guys find it odd that they were taking these department stores and chopping them up into smaller other stores? I just find that weird, and it's not something I've really seen done before. Because in 1991, a portion of the Sears would become a Farmore store, and then replaced by a half-price store, later to become Gordman's in 1993. The mall's very first expansion and renovation would happen in 1997, when $4 million would be spent on renovating the interior of the mall, along with a brand new 155,000 square foot Dillard store on the mall's south side. It would be built at a cost of $20 million. It was also at this time that the mall's interior layout would be modernized, with the food court being replaced by an open space and an updated design. Up until the mid-2000s, the mall had been doing quite well, but that was all about to change, because in 2015, JCPenney would announce that it would be closing its store after 45 years at the Crossroads Mall, and a year later, the at-home store would move in and take its place. 2018 would see the Sears store closing in April. The Yonkers, which was formerly the Herbergs and the Bon-Ton store, would close in August of that same year. This was due to the Bon-Ton stores filing for bankruptcy and closing all their stores. Grab your time machine and head back to the year 2012 to follow me on Google+. 2020 would see Gordman's and Dillard's exit the mall in quick succession, leaving the only anchor left to be the at-home store. And then the nail in the coffin, because in November of 2023, the at-home store would confirm that it would be closing by the end of the month. This would leave the Crossroads Mall with no anchors. And of course, with all the anchors leaving one by one, this would cause each wing of the mall to slowly die off as the inline tenants would also start leaving one by one. By the middle of 2023, the only few remaining tenants would be Bath & Body Works, Finish Line, H&R Block, and 2 eateries. This would include the Gino's Pizza and a Chinese restaurant. Oh, and there were military recruitment offices that were still in operation as well. As of late 2024, plans were put in place to have the Crossroads Mall demolished for around $20 million and then replaced by some kind of a mixed-use development, sort of similar to the Crossroads Mall over in Fort Dodge, Iowa, as it was recently demolished and repurposed into a mixed-use development. So as of 2025, with the last few tenants packing up and leaving, the mall is unfortunately on borrowed time. Now who knows what the future holds for this mall? Will it get demolished and be repurposed into a mixed-use center, or will it just sit here to rot? My true hope for Crossroads Mall is that someone with a vision would come into this mall and see its potential, because the place is in really good condition still, and the hopes would be that they would repurpose it without actually demolishing it. But, you know, that's not what normally happens to dead malls. They normally get tore down and then repurposed into some kind of a mixed-use thing or office space or a giant warehouse, and it really doesn't benefit the community as a whole. I'd have to say I'm blessed to have had the opportunity to meet up with some good friends and walk the corridors of the Crossroads Mall before it closes forever. And as the mall is in its final few weeks and days, I bid it a good farewell and hope that it has a bright future.
Right now, there are only 5 tenants left inside Waterloo's famous Crossroads Mall. In a few months, that's going to change. There will be 0. The city of Waterloo announcing a big development agreement to tear down Crossroads and start anew in that location. KWWL Emily Moss reporting tonight from Crossroads about this new proposal.
This could be one of the best destinations in the entire state of Iowa.
After years of uncertainty, the future of Crossroads Mall could soon be clear. The city of Waterloo entered a development agreement with a developer represented by McClure to demolish and revitalize the Crossroads complex.
Right now, it is a huge step in being able to acquire that site and began the processes of redevelopment.
The company is about to wrap up another major mall revitalization project in Fort Dodge, which is set to open by the end of this year. The project in Waterloo will be a larger undertaking, but Mayor Quentin Hart says he's confident in their ability.
Growing up here, I remember, Saturdays at the Crossroads and all the stores. But I think things change, times change, and we'll always have those memories. But we are shaping things of building the community today for tomorrow.
The developer hopes to follow the same type of plan they used in Fort Dodge, turning this nearly abandoned retail space into new apartments, sports courts, and more. With lots of amenities in the area, the developers will need to be creative with how they move forward.
You have a KOA campground, you have retail around it with Best Buy and Dick's Sporting Goods, you have Applebee's, you have restaurants, but you also have the community college, you have the casino, you have the #2 water park in the entire country, and a growing theme park. And so there's plenty of amenities already, and we just want to make sure that our conversations with the developer, that it's compatible.
But Mayor Hart is excited to see what's to come.
The area is a gold mine of things that are already happening. It's not going to be something that happens overnight because, you'll get the, oh my God, it's happening right now, and then a couple years later it's not moving fast enough. But these developments take time. There's a lot of technical things that go into creating the right type of infrastructure in addition to the buildings. But we are on the right track.
All right, Emily reporting tonight from Crossroads. The development company hopes to have the final sale of Crossroads completed by January. Then demolition, we're told, could begin as early as next summer in the city.
If you'd like to learn how you can support the future of video and help to preserve malls just like Crossroads, then check out the links on screen and in the description box below to get access to my member-exclusive content, where you can see all kinds of other retail, abandoned, and traveling videos, just like this one, and to get access to the Raw and Real edition, where I'll walk through the mall letting you hear all the sounds, just as though you were there yourself. I want to thank everyone who supports the work I do here, and for all of you for watching this video. But I think that's going to do it for this episode, and I will see you in the next one as we travel across Iowa.